next guest's debut novel was basically 9 years in the making. In that time, it became a highly anticipated book. Earlier this year, Publishers Weekly named her a writer to watch, and the book debuted on the New York Times bestseller list for young adult fiction. We're happy to celebrate her success on this Transgender Day of Visibility. Let's welcome the author of Queen of Faces, Petra Lord. Come on, y'all. Congratulations on the book. Such an achievement. So you started writing at a very, very young age, right?
I did. That feels like a really cliche answer for an author to say. I feel like every author says that.
Yeah.
Oh, like I came out of the womb knowing how to write.
I feel like singers do that. They're like, when I came out of the womb, I was like, I don't know, but okay. But you were writing young, yeah.
I did write from a very young age,
Yeah.
and I had, my dreams and my aspirations.
So wait, tell us about the book.
Queen of Faces is a young adult dark academia fantasy set in a world where rich people can buy and swap designer bodies like clothes. It's about a girl who is
scary that might happen one day. It's fine, okay.
In a dying male body that is slowly rotting from the inside out.
Wow.
And to escape it, she has to become a mercenary for a magic school.
Yeah.
And there's all this wild stuff going on, and revolutions and conspiracies and found families of criminals. It's very traumatizing. It's a very traumatizing book.
Yeah.
A lot of critics have told me that I need to pay their therapy bills.
Yeah. But, I mean, how did being transgender shape the story? It obviously had a hand in it.
So much, like so significantly. I feel like so much of this story was inspired by my own transition at like 17, 18. Just this really awkward, anxious period of life when you're going through so much change. I feel like adolescence is hard enough, but having to go through sort of a second adolescence of changing your gender is just this unbelievable period of terrifying transformation.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
which obviously led into that character of being trapped in a body that you do not feel is yours.
And I think I wanted to replicate a lot of that terror of changing yourself, but also I think the wonder at the same time. There's a lot of wonder and joy in being trans, as well as horror. I think sometimes in the media, it's easy to focus on the horrible aspects that come with being a minority, but I think it's also beautiful. Yeah. And so I want to show both sides of that, I think.
What a beautiful way to get that point across. Like in a young adult fiction, you know what I'm saying? What a beautiful way to have that. Art is the best way to progress society, I feel. So what do you hope readers get from the book?
I think if you can take away one thing from this book, I think it would be that transforming yourself in body or mind is one of the most terrifying and difficult things that you can ever do, but that it's also completely worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, today is Transgender Day of Visibility, so what does that mean for you?
Visibility is a nightmare. And that's kind of, I think, a weird thing to say for Transgender Day of Visibility, but I think honestly, just about any trans person who has survived the last 5 years or so will probably tell you something to that variety. I think the last couple of years have been so terrifying in terms of this massive backlash to trans rights that has come in the 2020s. I mean, I think we got all this visibility in the 2010s. Mm-hmm. Sometimes visibility can feel like a target being painted across your back, but at the same time, I feel like visibility is also how we see each other. It's how we connect with each other. It's how we know we're not alone. You know, when I was a teenager, if a stranger on the internet hadn't spoken up and been visible about their own trans story, I never would have realized I was trans in the first place.
Yeah.
Visibility is terrifying sometimes, but I think it's also kind of our power. Mm-hmm. When we're visible, we can't be erased quite so easily.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Petra's debut novel, Queen of Faces, is available now wherever books are sold. Y'all gotta check it out. But everyone here doesn't have to do that because everyone's going on with a copy.